We should get a couple hours in today. I'm actually going to stop at 6 today, unlike yesterday, where I streamed until like 8:30. Um, it was just me after you left, but I did continue playing for another 2 hours after you left. So um, I was enjoying my time in Zelda yesterday. Um, I mean, I wasn't like trying to progress the story. I was just trying to find the X's, the old map X's, and it ended up being quite fucking difficult because there are a lot of like to the ceiling walls in the depths that you can't go around or over. So I didn't get all of them. I didn't end up getting all of them because it took me so long to find one of them. It took me like an hour to finally get to one of them. Um, the one in the very center of the map took me forever to actually get to. Because I want the depths pants, but I don't know if I have to get it from one of the gods or if I have to, or if it's in the chests, one of the chests. I'm not sure. I'll have to Google that tomorrow because I would like the pants. Yeah. I think I bought the tunic. I'm pretty sure I bought the shirt though from one of the gods. I found a second god after you left on accident. Like I ended up landing on its face during one of my adventures on a different part of the map. I just came across the second one by accident, which I thought was funny. So I found two of them last night. Um, which I just thought was funny that I stumbled on the second one like that. But um, did they have much more? They had a little bit more. But I'd already picked up one of the ones that they had offered that the first one didn't, because I'd picked it up out of one of the chests. I ended up buying two of the same clothing. Rip. I know, you can't sell them anywhere, so... which is a bit goofy. I would like to find more of them because I do want the blue tunic that he has. This one, the one he's wearing in the statue. But you can only buy that from the gods, so... I don't know how many of them you have to find out. Open that, though, so maybe I won't bother. Because I do think I want to try to actually beat Ganon tomorrow. Yeah, I know the gods sell it. When I was researching them to see what all they offered, to see if it was worth my time to find them, you can buy it from one of them. But I think you have to find a certain number of them first before you can access that to purchase. So, I don't know that I'm going to bother. What do you mean? For, Ganon? It's following the Sidon statues, right? At least that's what I've been doing. Is Ganon above ground, or is he's hiding in the depths, isn't he? My brain is only just now registered that you changed your name again. It's probably been a while since you changed it. Oh, he's below the castle. There is a depths entrance in the castle. So It wouldn't surprise me that he's under there. Where we found him the first time, most likely. Ah. Yeah, I might see if I can beat Ganon tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. My plans don't always go to plan, so we'll see. Okay, Reddit time. We should Reddit now. I think this light that I have on is also making me sleepy, because it's fairly dark in the apartment, all things considered. Like I said, it's cloudy out. I might take a nap after stream. Just a short little hour-long nap. I haven't decided if I'm actually going to stay 7 hours tonight or not. Or if I'm just going to come home at 1 o'clock again. I should stay for the 7 hours to get the money. But do I want to? Not really. So, it might be one of those where I only stay for 3.5 and then come home. So then I've only got 7 hours of overtime for the week. Yeah, money's great and all, but so is sleeping and sitting on the couch. That said, I still don't usually go to bed till after I'd be off work anyways, so... Yeah, Rot'll yell at me. Rot likes to mother me. In like a goofy way. Not in like an annoying way. Rot likes to worry, I think. Which is warranted. I've been doing questionable things. In terms of my sleep schedule and stuff. So it's not unwarranted. I do. And it's annoying because, like, even on nights where I try to go to bed early, I still end up staying awake by accident. Like, I'll be super sleepy at, like, 3 o'clock or something, like 3 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go on and go to bed, even though I'm going to be sleeping for quite a while. I'll go on and go to bed. And then I'm fucking awake till 7 o'clock. And I'm like, and I'm like, how does this happen? Like, I'll lay down and get comfy, and then my brain's awake, and now I can't fucking fall asleep, even though I was just falling asleep. It's so frustrating. And I all the drugs I try for sleep, they don't always work. What do you mean? The same thing happens if I go to bed on the couch or if I go to bed on the blow-up mattress. It doesn't matter where I try to sleep. Unless I feel myself falling asleep on the couch, sometimes I'll just lay down. Like, if I feel myself, like, drifting while I'm just sitting there watching stuff, even if it's early, sometimes I'll just let myself lay down and not set any alarms or anything. I don't think I ever said that. If I did, it was a lie. I sleep about the same on the bed as I do on the couch. I sleep longer in the bedroom simply because it's dark. But not necessarily better. It's harder for me to wake up because it's so dark in there. There is that. But, I do end up getting more sleep, but that doesn't mean the sleep is good quality sleep or restful. I don't think I get restful sleep these days. Since I moved here, I think I've woken up in the morning refreshed maybe twice. So, I wake up and I'm like, ooh, I feel good. I feel awake. I think that's only happened maybe twice since I moved up here. So, yeah. I'm hopeful that maybe once I get... Yeah, that's not helpful. Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping that maybe once I get an actual bed, like an actual mattress, maybe my sleep will regulate itself a little bit better because I'll have a consistent place to sleep and a comfortable place to sleep. But that won't be till September at the earliest, so... And that's only assuming I can talk my parents into helping me pay for a mattress because I can't afford one on my own, so... not right now, anyways. Maybe in a few months I'd be able to, but not right now. And I don't really want to wait until next year for that, personally. I don't know if my body can wait until next year for that. But, you know. We're making do. Easier said than done, rookie. It's easier said than done. Like right now, I feel like I could fall asleep if I went over and lay down on the couch. But I know that if I went over and lay down on the couch, my brain would wake up, and then I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. So... I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's the worst. Stream. It's super frustrating more than anything because you're like, okay, I'm tired, I'll go to bed. And then you lay down and get comfortable and you're awake. And it's like, why the fuck did I move then? Like, why did I bother getting up off the couch and going into the bedroom if I'm just going to be fucking awake again? And sometimes the same has happened, like, on the couch. Like, I'll be falling asleep on the couch, so I'll just grab the blanket that I use on the couch and just lay down right there. And I still fucking wake up. And it's like, all I did was slump to the side. What the hell? Like... Yeah. And it doesn't also help that when I lay down, my nose decides to stop up every time. It's very frustrating. Like, I don't know what that's about. Like, I'll be sitting there breathing just fine, and then I lay down, and suddenly I can't breathe through my nose anymore. And it's like, well... Yeah. And then my brain's like, oh, well, we can think about tomorrow, and we can think about now, and we can think about 3 months from now, and we can think about how we're going to ask our parents to help us buy a mattress, and we can think about these things we need to talk about with these people at work, and we can think about the amount of money that I have to spend on insurance, and then we can think about the movies that I'm going to go see next weekend, and we can think about this and that and the other, and it's just like, no, dude, I'm trying to sleep. Shut up. Like... And it doesn't seem to matter what drugs I take. It doesn't seem to shut it up. Because I've tried Benadryl. It doesn't really do it for me. The Delta 8 sometimes works, but I've got to get, like, stupid high for it to be effective. And I don't always want to risk getting stupid high, because sometimes I'm more likely to oversleep if I get stupid high. And then the melatonin doesn't do shit either. Sometimes pure exhaustion from a long shift will do it, but rarely. Yeah. I have to practically OD on melatonin to make me feel like it's doing anything. So it's like, oh, a handful, let's go. Yeah. It doesn't help that I also am not great about eating breakfast because I don't always have the energy or spoons to like do breakfast. Like this is my breakfast today. Is this Mountain Dew right here? Because I just don't have the energy to make a smoothie, and the Pop-Tarts I have don't sound very interesting. So, oh well. Doesn't help that I skip breakfast, I think. But food is hard as an adult. Having food to make and eat is hard as an adult. I'm not a fan of it personally. I eat a lot during the day. Like I eat plenty during the day. It's just breakfast that I struggle with. Having the appetite necessary to eat food in the morning is difficult for some reason. But like eating in here in a few hours when I eat dinner before work, that's not going to be a challenge. Eating after I get off work is not going to be a challenge. Eating at work, not a challenge. It's just the first thing in the morning. Yeah, pre-made shakes are expensive is the thing. I make smoothies on mornings that I go into work at 6. But that's about it. So. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Well, because if you buy pre-made, then you don't have to make it. It's not the same making it the night before. The texture gets all weird if you leave it in the fridge overnight. Sorry, Stray. I like to enjoy my food when I'm eating it, usually. So, not to mention it's cold, so chugging it doesn't work out well. And maybe so, all right? What of it? I have muffins and stuff. I bought muffin mix when I first moved here, and I haven't made a single batch of muffins. And I don't know that I ever will. Because I could technically make those the night before. But yeah, like blueberry muffin. Yeah, it's breakfast. Welcome to America. Cheez-Its for breakfast. Yeah. Can't say I haven't done that before. Alright, let's read this post. Am I the asshole for freaking out when my wife locked our son out of the house at night after he drank alcohol? Let's get some background going on. It's a bit quiet. I literally have it on 1. I love that. Okay. Okay. I, 39 male, have a 16-year-old son with my wife, 40 female. This incident happened a few days ago, and she's still mad at me. I was on a work trip, so my wife was at home with our son. When I got back, I found out that he had been hanging out with his friends, and they convinced him to drink some beer, and he got a little drunk. I'm not saying what he did was right, but him and I had a talk about it, and it's fine. The problem is that when he came home, my wife found out, and she was furious and kicked him out and refused to let him back in until the morning. He was begging for her to let him in, but she wouldn't. When I found out, I was furious. Regardless of what he did, she made a slightly drunk teenager stay outside by himself at night. Something very bad could have happened to him. Yeah. We had a huge argument over it. I asked her how the hell she thought that was okay. She just kept saying that it's our son's fault for drinking alcohol. My wife isn't really talking to me now, and my son isn't talking to his mom. I feel like I'm in the right, but maybe I'm not. Am I the asshole? No, you're not the asshole. I don't think it's okay to ever lock your kid out of your house unless they're being violent towards you. I think that's the only situation where it's like okay to lock them out of the house is like when your grown child is like actively trying to kill you, like you know, like that's the only situation I can think of where it's okay to lock your kid out, is when they're grown and big enough to cause damage and they're causing damage. Because I can think of a number of situations where a grown son or a son who's big enough to very much beat up on his parents is being violent, so they lock him out of the house. That's it. That's the only time that that's acceptable. The line, she made a slightly drunk teenager stay outside by himself at night. Like, that is so unsafe, especially just depending on where you're living at. Like, that's, like, very unsafe, just in general. But also, it's not going to be good for him. If he's drunk for the first time, he needs to sleep in a bed, to sleep it off, not outside on the porch. I think that's incredible. Is it her son? Yeah, he said our son out of the house. Okay, so it's her fucking kid. Like, I was wondering if maybe it was a step-parent situation, because I could see a step-parent doing that. Because on this subreddit, step-parents are the worst. But no, this is her son. I think that's unacceptable behavior, because he was drunk, but it doesn't say anything about it being violent. So just locking him out because he's a little drunk. Like, clearly you've never spoken to teenagers before, because this is what teenagers do. I don't know what to tell you. Like, even the good ones will drink early. Like, that's just how that works. Yeah, not the asshole. Let's read the comments. Not the asshole. A victim of serial killers Paul and Carla was locked out of her house by her parents the night they kidnapped her. Yeah. I mean, she was a woman, and that's more likely to happen to a woman. But, yeah, that's the worst case scenario. This is what could happen. I won't be reading the rest of it, as Twitch will not be happy about that. But, OP's wife is acting like a child. No rational adult would think it's a good idea to leave a drunk teen outdoors unattended. Yeah. A minor child is an adult's responsibility. The mother endangered her son. Yeah. Yep. Not the asshole. I get that she's trying to teach your son that actions have consequences, but the much more important lesson to teach her is when I screw up, I can always go home. Mom and dad might be mad, but I know I will be safe with them and we can talk it out. Exactly this. He's going to have trust issues now with his mom, clearly, as he doesn't talk to her now. Punish him for drinking underage, but that's being grounded or having your driving privileges taken away. This is an important moment in the parent-child relationship. You want to be home-based, not the police. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not in any way saying don't punish him. He did something wrong, but coming home drunk your first time drinking is not the time to be berated and kept outside. It's the time to hear sleep it off. We'll discuss this in the morning. Exactly. There's a ton of parents who immediately punished and did things like your wife did. So now we have a very superficial relationship. They get next to no news or info because I'm still nervous it will somehow be used against me. And I don't seek them out whenever something happens to me. Yeah. I'm sorry that happened to you. I've always made sure my son knows he can trust me, and I've reassured him of that since this happened. That's good. This is illegal in most states. You could lose your kids. Yeah. If you all ever divorce, this would be a good thing to use against her to get custody of your kid. Not the asshole. Your wife single-handedly taught your son that if something is wrong, he can't trust her to keep him safe. Withholding safety is not a punishment. It is cruel. I really hope your son has seen you stand up for him on this, that you have or will sit down with him and tell him that what he did wasn't okay, but that her reaction was entirely unreasonable and unacceptable. She cannot do this kind of thing in the future. Talk with both of them about the rules he is not allowed to break and what will happen if he does, none of which should be abusive responses intended to scare or embarrass him. Yeah. OP said he knows when we talked about it, I made sure he knew that he was wrong, but what happened was not warranted. I didn't want him to think that he'll be kicked out every time he messes up, which is very good, because he shouldn't be. Because he's a teenager. Teenagers are designed to do fuck-ups. Like, that's literally the whole point of being a teenager. Is the time of your life where fuck-ups, to a degree, within reason, are fully allowed. You're allowed to make mistakes because you have your parents to fall back on. You don't have to worry about not having enough money or fucking up or drinking a little too much or stuff like that, because you can go home and have someone there, a parent, to take care of you. The person replied back to OP saying, "That's really good. It's so important for kids to know that their parents can be trusted even when they mess up. Punishments are supposed to teach accountability. Locking him outside isn't going to do that. I don't imagine that settling this with your wife is going to be easy, but as a parent, your first priority has to be your son, which you're doing really well at in this situation so far. Good luck." And OP replied back, "Thank you. I don't have a good relationship with my parents, so I've always wanted to have a good relationship with my son and for him to trust me. I'm going to try again to get my wife to see how dangerous what she did was." Yeah. Yeah, it is child neglect to lock your child out. That is what that is, and in some states that is a lock-upable offense. So, yeah. Yeah. Your wife denied your child shelter at night while he was intoxicated. She endangered your kid, not the asshole. I have to ask your wife the following: what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah. Not you trying to read ahead. Huh? You are pulling a Max. Huh? Quit that shit. Alright, that's very clear, not the asshole. What was that product? Oh, it's a antivirus thing. Okay. I'm sorry, reading this title is giving me a fucking aneurysm. Am I the asshole for ordering a giant steak against my mother-in-law's... Oh, against my mother-in-law's will. There was no S at the end, so I was really confused. We're gonna do this one. I'm sitting in the most comfortable, but the least comfortable way. Like, I'm leaning really weird, but it's kind of comfy, but not at the same time. I need to get these posters up on the wall. I know I do. I need to get them up on the wall so they're visible. Because since I've moved the boxes out of the floor, I can't prop them up on the boxes. I need to actually, like, hang them up in the corner so they're visible. Because, like, that spot right there is going to be the prime real estate for the relevant posters. I would have got Displate by now, probably, but they don't have the art that I want, so, like, they don't have any Ghost of Tsushima art, which is really disappointing, because that's the one that I wanted, so, but it works out, because Displate's quite expensive, but, you know, I'll probably hang up one of these Zelda posters, probably this one, that's right here. I'll probably hang this one up over there at some point. It's bowed though. Like the cardboard is all bent and I can't flatten it because of the plastic wrap. So I might just like stick a couple command strips on the part that's not like on the middle. I just stick that to the wall. So I don't really want to take the poster out of its packaging, you know? Because keeps it safe if it's got that cardboard on the back of it. So I know when it's up against the wall, you can't really tell. But, like... I'm going to hit you, Link. Get out of the way. See the bend? It's because of the plastic wrap around it. So when I try to fold it like flatten it down, it doesn't work because of the plastic wrap. I also need to peel the sticker off, the price sticker. Of course, it left some sticky residue behind, but, you know, it's not physically on there anymore. That's what matters. Yeah, I haven't really started hanging this stuff up on the walls yet because I want to finish the bedroom first. Like, I want to get a bed and bed frame so I can get everything put where it's going to go. So then I know what wall space I have. Then I can start hanging shit up on the walls. Even in here, even though this room is basically done, I want to have the apartment done before I start hanging shit up. Because I'm going to end up hanging stuff up in here and then finish the bedroom and be like, oh, that would have fit perfectly in that spot or whatever. I know myself. I'll end up doing that and then be upset with myself for doing that. But these ones I know are going to go in here because they're quite, or at least one of them will. I know I'm going to put the one up back there. At least for a little while. I'm probably going to try to change out the background every once in a while. Like, change out what's hung up back there. Like, every few months or something like that. Just to kind of keep it fresh and updated so it's not the same background for the next 2 years. But we'll see if that happens. Alrighty. Am I the asshole for ordering a giant steak against my mother-in-law's will, actually eating it and refusing to cover the entire bill? What a prompt. What a prompt. This is ridiculous, and I can't believe I have to ask if I am the asshole, but here we go. I, 27 female, have been together with my husband, Nate, for over 10 years and married for 4. I don't have the best relationship with my mother-in-law, as she always seems to police what I eat. Everyone in my family has a fast metabolism. I am also working with horses due to this I burn a lot of calories, and usually have rather large meals to get the energy back, and I still remain skinny. Relatable content. Except I don't have the money to eat that many calories a day, but, you know, relatable content. Physical work, physical job, fast metabolism. Now to the event. My in-laws invited me and Nate to dinner last Friday. I was very busy back then and hadn't eaten since about 6 or 7 a.m. and also didn't have a chance to have a snack before heading to the restaurant. So I was starving. I usually have something to eat before seeing my mother-in-law to avoid her comments. Yikes. Due to this, I have ordered a large steak at a restaurant which was meant for 2 people. It also came with prawns, bacon, and 2 sides. Ooh, big meal. Please note it was not the most expensive item on the menu, as some of my in-laws had significantly pricier dishes, and we were all splitting the bill anyway. Fair, fair. My mother-in-law started making comments about how I shouldn't be ordering what I can't eat, since even her husband wouldn't be able to finish that dish, let alone someone my size. I smiled and said I haven't eaten since early this morning and I'm starving. If I don't finish the steak, I will take the leftovers home. See, that's how I feel. It does sound like a massive meal. But Girly says she can put it away, so she gonna put it away. But also she said she can take them leftovers home too. So, absolutely, yeah. I am not super skinny. I am skinny though. I am a bit of a beanpole, but I've gained a little bit of a gut over the years, but nothing that really counts, in my opinion. I'm skinny. I am not muscular, so there is a difference there too. High metabolism, unfortunately, does not mean muscle. Very sad. Alrighty. I easily finished the steak and was waiting for my dessert when my mother-in-law flipped. She said I'm attention-seeking and I was putting on a show. She also said I made my father-in-law and brother-in-law feel uneasy and that a woman shouldn't eat that much. It is unhealthy and something is wrong with me. It sounds like the mother-in-law needs to get her shit together. It sounds like mother-in-law is insecure. She has then demanded me and Nate to cover the entire bill as she wasn't planning on such a big expenditure. I said we were absolutely not covering the entire bill since it was meant to be split equally, and reminded her of the dishes she ordered that were significantly more expensive compared to my steak, including her starter. As a result, I was called an asshole who has ruined a family dinner. Nate is on my side, but most of my in-laws are making very passive-aggressive posts on social media about it and keep sending me different articles of what might cause excessive eating. How dare this person eat? I know, right? The audacity. Has your husband said anything to his mom about not being a cunt? Because that's on him to speak to his mom about the way he treats you, about the way she treats you. You standing up for yourself is great and all, but she clearly doesn't respect you, so it's kind of falling on your husband to stand up to his mom. I hope he's done that before. It's great that he's on your side, but if he's not saying anything when his mother-in-law talks shit about your body and the way you eat, like, he needs to do something about that. It's his mom, so it's his problem. That's how I feel about it anyways. Yeah, that was my mom talking shit about my girlfriend or my wife. I'd be shutting that shit down. If she wasn't already basically out of my life, she absolutely would be after that. Not the asshole, obviously. Not the asshole. I hope you stared your mother-in-law dead straight in the eyes as you took the last bite of your steak. This, and then said, I need the energy as I plan to bang your son like a screen door in a hurricane later. Yeah. Especially if it's like someone in my family doing that bullshit. Because if it's your family, it's your problem, you know? Like, even though once you're married, it's their family too, it's still not. Especially if you've got like a tense relationship with the in-laws, you know? Like, if your family doesn't really get along with your partner, it's kind of on you to sort of mediate that. If my wife ordered that, I'd probably just do the same and be like, dude, sounds amazing. Mom, mind your business. Yeah. I'd do one of those. I'll have what she's having, minus the prawns. You know, I'd order that same shit, because, oof, big juicy steak. Sounded tasty. Not the asshole. Mother-in-law needs to chill out and mind her own business. May I ask why you even pondered if this makes you the asshole? Mainly the way my in-laws are reacting, it makes me think that I've broken some unspoken etiquette rule, which everyone should know about. No. There is, like, a thing of, like, oh, women only eat salads on the first date so they don't look like pigs, and it's like, why? You know, there is, like, the whole, like, because women are meant to be thin and pretty and blah, and blah, and blah. So to eat a big meal is seen as masculine or manly for some fucking reason, even though everyone needs food. And I think that's kind of where mother-in-law is at, is she still believes that. And I'd be willing to guess that OP doesn't actually eat meals like the one in this specific scenario on a regular basis. Like, it does sound like she eats a bit more, but she works a physical job, so she's gonna have to eat more. She has a high metabolism, so she's gonna have to eat more. As someone who grew up like that, that's just how it goes. You have to eat more, otherwise you end up becoming skeleton-like, just naturally. So, it sounds to me like mother-in-law needs some therapy, personally. Not the asshole. Girl, eat whatever you want. Yeah. Not the asshole. Put some distance between you and these people. You'll be better off. You didn't do a damn thing wrong. I sincerely hope that steak was delicious. Agreed. That is a very easy not the asshole again. Okay. Sorry. Am I the asshole for taking my fiance's dinner after he touched mine? I'll be quick. My fiance, 26 female, and my have a fiance, 32 male, who is blind. We don't disagree a lot, except he always gets bothered whenever I eat different food from what he's eating when we go out. Like if we're having dinner out and I order something else, he'd instantly get upset and accuse me of treating him as less than when I just have a different taste in foods. Okay, insecurity. Go to therapy. Red flag 1. Go to therapy. What the fuck? Get your shit together. What the hell? Yeah, what? Yeah, not the asshole. Yeah. I just eat what he eats to keep the peace. I eat out alone as an alternative, but since he clearly doesn't trust me, he'd randomly touch my plate to see if I'm having the same dish. This caused huge arguments between us, and I told him to stop doing it, and he said he would. This is so weird. Break up with him, hun. Break up with this insecure piece of shit. He's 32 years old and acting this way? No, not okay. We went out to eat nights ago, and I ordered the same dish as he did. When the food arrived, he looked somewhat uncomfortable. I asked what was wrong, and he refused to say. But before I could even grab the fork, he extended his arm and with his hand touched the food on my plate. He moved quickly and started excusing what he did, saying he just wanted to make sure, but I lost it on him. If I felt so grossed out, and there was no way I could eat the food after he touched it. Do not marry him, please. Yeah, right. He tried to get me to drop it, saying I shouldn't be grossed out by his hand and that I overreacted, but I grabbed his plate and told him that I was taking it as my dinner. He at first asked me to be rational and give me the plate back, but I refused. An argument ensued and we had a fight. He then ended up leaving, started spam texting me, accusing me of being bitter, pathetic, and childish, and robbing his dinner. You need to break up with this insecure man-child. He went to stay with his friends who picked him up, and his friends sided with him, saying I was in the wrong, even went as far as to say that I was abusing my fiance and financially controlling him when I pointed out that I was the one who paid for the food. This is only in the conversation because he's blind. I just want to put that out there. They are only saying she's financially abusing him because he's blind. That's the only reason that is even there. If he was not disabled in any way, this would not be... That wouldn't even be a point of contention. The problem is magnified by him wanting an apology and me refusing to give him one. My parents think I should have been more patient and that this is just typical love spat between us, but I'm not sure. Was I the asshole with how I handled this? Edit, I want to point out that this is not the case when we eat at home. He has no issue with me eating different food, but in public it's a different story. That's so weird. Not the asshole. List of red flags. Him insisting you eat the same food as him. Him feeling he has the right to check to make sure. Him putting his hands on your food. Him continuing to touch your food after saying he would stop. There's something going on here, and you shouldn't ignore it. Yeah, I agree. This is some weird shit. Info. Why on earth does he insist that you must order the same dish he orders at restaurants? And why on earth are you actually following this rule he implemented? This is ridiculously controlling. Yeah. Yeah, also, yeah, you can hear her order her food. Like, you don't need to check it. You order out loud at a restaurant. Like, that's how that works. Not the asshole, but your fiancé is being unreasonably controlling. The fact that he wouldn't eat the plate that he touched shows he knows it's a disgusting thing to do. Then he gets pissy and goes pouting at his friend's house for what? All this drama because of his unreasonable hang-up about you eating different food than him. Do not marry this man. He will use his disability at every turn to make you the bad guy. Seeing how controlling he is now, it'll probably get 10 times worse once you're married. The fact that you're even questioning yourself in this instance shows that he's spent a significant amount of time convincing you that him having control over you is normal and how it should be. Yep. Yep. This is very annoying behavior. Blind or not, I would be done. Absolutely. Not the asshole. I'm sure this isn't the only way he tries to exercise control over you. Why do you put up with this? Do you realize how incredibly disrespectful, forget bizarre, controlling, unsanitary, selfish, etc. it is for him to touch your food to ensure you're eating the same food as him? I can't believe you allow that. To give you some perspective, this is a perfect example of the escalation of controlling behaviors. He started groping your food because you allowed him to control and dictate what you're supposed to eat. If you had put your foot down to begin with and refused to comply with his ridiculous demand that you eat the exact same thing as him, it wouldn't have gotten to this point of him sticking his hand into your food. So what's next? How else is he going to try to control you? It's only going to go further downhill from here. It already did because he's manipulating you by telling other people you're abusive and controlling for not letting him control what you eat. Please leave this asshole before things get infinitely worse. Absolutely. It's just so weird. Like, we deal with insecure man babies on this subreddit all the time. We deal with insecure people in general all the time on this subreddit. But this is just so weird. This is such a weird insecurity, especially since he only does it in public. He doesn't care at home. Why? What's the difference? I'm very confused. I would like to hear his reasoning for this specific rule that he has. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. This is so weird. It's so weird. Oh my god. Why are you with someone this irrational and controlling? I just eat what he eats to keep the peace. You know that's not okay, right? Not the asshole, but rethink this relationship. Yeah. When she said that, I was like, oh, honey, no. Please leave. I am from the U.S. of A. I am from Kentucky, but I'm currently living in Nebraska. He has free choice of what to order, and he still attempts to police your food. Then, even when he's won, he still feels the need to touch your food to prove it to himself. And then he gets upset when you switch plates that have the exact same meal on them, so he can have the one he touched, and you can have the untouched one. Even your fiance should be able to see the massive number of red flags. Not the asshole, and the fact that he managed to get his friend to accuse you of abuse and your parents to believe this is a typical spat is deeply, deeply concerning. It means he's not only manipulating you, he's manipulating the other people in your life in his quest to control and isolate you. Yeah. I implore you to put this wedding planning on hold. Yeah. I don't know what this is. What is this? Why does he do that? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men by Lundy Bancroft. I feel like I've heard of this book before. It is long. It is 1,020 pages in this PDF format. I mean, the font looks like this. The font looks like this, so it's not actually that long. It's probably a pretty quick read. But he won't let you order something different from what he orders. Girl, are you really so desperate? Is the bar really this low? Being single is better than this. Please leave this manipulative weirdo. It's only gonna get worse. Yeah. My favorite quote of the modern age is, dick is abundant and low of value. There are plenty of other people out there. You don't have to put up with this shit. That's funny. Yeah. What in the shitting hell did I just read? He throws a strop? He throws a strop? I don't know what that's trying to say. He throws a... Yeah. They must be British. He throws a strop. What the fuck is a strop? What is that? What does it mean? Is it just a tantrum? I've never heard that before. He throws a strop if you don't order exactly the same meal as him. And if you do, he touches your food. This man is deranged, went far, far and fast. Yeah. And why does he get upset when switching plates when they're eating the same thing? Yeah. This is so weird. He's weird and you're not allowed to eat unless it's the same thing he's eating. Leave this man immediately. Yeah. The red flags are in fact abundant in this scenario. Very abundant. Okay, we'll get down to that one that's the asshole one at some point. This is a touchy one. Trigger warning: eating disorders. Fuck, man. I wish I wasn't so fucking tired. I don't know why I was so much more awake yesterday than I am today. I'm not sure what that's about. All right. Am I the asshole for telling my roommate that her anorexia is not my problem? Spicy. We are both 23 female. It's been getting into the 90s Fahrenheit where we live, so I've been turning on the AC when I get home. I also work a physically intense outdoor job, so I come home really sweaty and exhausted from the heat. Gross and disgusting. I hope you're okay. Drink lots of water. If I worked outdoors right now, if I worked a job that was outdoors right now, I would fucking quit my job. It is right. I mean, here it's okay at the moment. It's in the 80s, but it was in the high 90s earlier this week, and it felt like hell outside because it was so humid on top of it being hot as fuck with the sun beating down on you. They're doing construction right next door, as y'all know. If I was working that job, I'd be quitting that job. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. Especially with as hot as it's getting in, the southern regions of the U.S., in, Texas and shit, where they just made it where water breaks aren't mandatory anymore. No, I'm not working here anymore. I'm sorry. No. It's too fucking hot. Sorry for the tangent. Drink plenty of water, OP. The apartment will stay cool enough for me to fall asleep, but then later on, I'll wake up in the middle of the night completely drenched in sweat. I'll then get up and find out that my roommate has been switching the AC off while I'm sleeping. This really upsets me because it's been making me really dehydrated and tired to begin with from not sleeping well, and it's been impacting my work. Yeah, that's not okay. That's something you need to talk to her about. She's unemployed right now, so I thought she might have been hung up about the power bill. When I finally talked to her about it, I explained that I'm already very sensitive to heat to begin with, and that because we're fortunate enough to have AC, I want to enjoy it when I get home, especially after a long day of work, and that the heat is causing problems for me. I even offered to foot some of her share of the power bill if she was really that concerned about it, but she said that she turns it off because the apartment gets too cold. I should add that our AC is set at 70, has never been moved lower than that. Bitch, put on a sweater. The fuck? Put on a fucking sweater. What the fuck? I told her that she should just use some blankets or put on a sweater if it was really bothering her, because the heat is unbearable. 70 for me, my apartment right now is 74, 75 degrees, but that's because I don't turn on my AC because I don't need to, because it doesn't get above that temperature because I'm in a basement. So I don't have to turn the AC on, but when the winter rolls around, if it gets, depending on what the normal sitting temperature is for my apartment, I'll probably let it get down to 70, 68, 70 degrees because I can sit here under a blanket and in a sweatshirt and be perfectly comfortable, and it'll save me money. So having it set to 70 degrees, the fact that your AC cools to 70 when it's over 90 degrees outside is a privilege that you should be allowed to take full advantage of, especially if you're sensitive to heat. I am also somewhat sensitive to heat, not crazy or anything like that, but I do, my body temperature vastly changes very randomly for no reason. I'll just randomly get hot all of a sudden, and then I'll be randomly cold all of a sudden. So as someone who struggles to regulate their body temperature sometimes, it's important to have it at a temperature that is good for you. And yeah, 70 isn't even that cold. I went into the break room at work one day, and it was set on 64 degrees in the break room. I said, no, sir. I said, we're not doing that. I turned the temperature back up to 70. I was like, we're not doing this. It's too fucking cold in here for that. What the fuck? I was like, are we trying to cool the entire floor? Why is it so cold in here? I told her that she should just use the blankets or a sweater if it was really bothering her. She then countered saying that because she's in recovery from anorexia, she's really sensitive to cold, and that I'm not prioritizing her needs. I then responded by saying, I'm sympathetic to your situation, but that is your problem, not mine, and it is starting to have a negative impact on me, and we need to find some middle ground here, because I can't take off my skin when it gets too hot. She then got extremely upset and angry and told me that I was being ableist and insensitive, and I'm kind of bothered by this because I've also had struggles with eating disorders in the past, so am I the asshole here? No, you're not the asshole here. Your roommate is using her mental illness against you, and it's not okay. If her anorexia is her fucking problem, it's not my problem that you're cold as shit. That's not on me, all right? And you're right, you can't remove your skin when you get too warm, whereas she can add layers when she's too cold. It's not rocket science, you know? As someone who has lived with someone with an eating disorder before, that's just how the cookie crumbles, all right? Max and I, well, this isn't even related to the eating disorder, but Max is just normally cold. So probably because Max is so little. But after starting testosterone, I became the warm one in the relationship. So I'd be sitting there in a shorts and a t-shirt, and Max would be sitting over there in a big ass sweatshirt and long pants and under a blanket. But we kept the apartment set to a temperature that I was comfortable at because Max could bundle up. And because Max is a pushover, but mostly because Max can bundle up, whereas like in my office at the old apartment, it got so hot in there and there was really not too much that could be done about it, so it had to stay cool in the rest of the apartment so that it didn't, burn up in my office. So Max would be sitting there cold. Baymax is very little. This is not news, rookie. So no, Max is not rude. Max is a pushover. So it was easy to convince Max to, but still, we still kept the apartment at 73, so it was still warmer than it was here. Max is just naturally cold. So 73, Max was still bundled in a sweatshirt and sweatpants. But those are the kinds of compromises you have to make when you live with a roommate. Like, that's just how that works. Eating disorder or not, your eating disorder, your mental illness, your problems are yours, not mine. And the fact that OP even offered a compromise, like, I'm sure OP would have been fine moving it up to like 72 or something, like 71, 72. Bumping it up a couple degrees makes a bigger difference than you'd think. But roommate over here was not even okay with that. Even without the pushover thing, Max is still pretty logic driven and would see the sense regardless. Exactly. Max understood. Max knew how hot my office got. Like, Max has been in there before when we would record Max Reacts, and it's hot as fuck in that office. So Max understood how incredibly uncomfortable it would get in there. So they were willing to compromise. Just like how before T, I was the cold one in the relationship. I was always cold before I started testosterone, so we did the same thing, but the other way around. We were a bit closer, I think, in temperature levels. So we'd both be bundled up in sweatshirts and stuff, to keep the apartment at a reasonable temperature where it wasn't like humid in the apartment. Yeah, so no, you're very much not the asshole. Like, this is wild. Additional info from a comment I made so it doesn't get buried. I see a lot of people making the assumption that I'm completely unwilling to compromise with her on that. I'm set on having it at 70. During our talk, I offered to adjust the temperature, but she wants it completely off, not adjusted, off all the way, and that's what made me angry. Yeah, that's what I said. OP said in their post that they offered to compromise, which the compromise would be turning the temperature up a little bit. But having the AC, I can't, like, the only reason my AC is off is because I don't need it on, because it stays comfortable in the apartment with it off. But if I lived a few stories higher, that wouldn't be the case, because it would have direct sunlight throughout the day and would get hot as fuck. So you'd have to have the AC on. That's wild. Men run on adaptable temperature. Women generally run on cold. Yeah, men are usually warmer because testosterone actually increases your body temperature and produces more heat than estrogen does. That is the reason men are generally warmer than women. It's the testosterone, baby. It always comes back to testosterone. It always does. Obviously not the asshole. Not the asshole. Coping mechanisms are an important part of recovery. Not everyone else must accommodate me and be uncomfortable because my comfort is all that matters due to my situation. That's actually kind of the opposite of recovery. Blankets are a good start. Yeah. I was gifted a heating blanket one Christmas, and it was one of the best gifts I've ever received. I love heat pads, so a full heated blanket was amazing. At the time, I lived in a basement suite in central Canada where winters got to negative 45 Celsius regularly. I'm sorry, what? Negative 45 What is that in Fahrenheit? It's cold as shit. It's the same in Fahrenheit? How is that the same in Fahrenheit? It's negative 49 in Fahrenheit. No, there we go. Negative 56.2 degrees Fahrenheit. That's so cold. That's so cold, dude. Why are the negatives so similar to one another, but the positives aren't? Negative 45 is negative 50, negative 49. But 45 is 113. That's so weird. I know Canada's cold, but Jesus fucking Christ. Negative 45 on a regular basis? Yeah, I need a heated blanket here. God damn. I needed the extra heat source on some of those cold nights. This obviously could lead to added safety concerns, and I tried to be cautious of what was around the blanket and outlet it was plugged into, and never had an issue. I preferred the blanket over a space heater. Yeah, I love my heated blanket. My heated blanket has been so helpful over the years. It's been so helpful over the years, and it's been very helpful since I moved here because sleeping on an air mattress, the air mattress doesn't retain my body heat as I lay on it, so it stays cold all night, which normally would be great, but I get cold, so I need something pumping out heat on a regular basis because my heat is all sucked into the bed and dissipated into the universe. So it stays quite cold. Now, if I ran super, super warm all the time, it would probably be great, but it is not. It is not great. I get cold. So that heated blanket has been a godsend, especially since when I first got here, my only option was the blow-up mattress. So I would have been very, very cold. And I imagine the heated blanket will come handy during the winter because I'm up here in Nebraska. It's not too far north, but Nebraska winters can get pretty aggressive. So, no, this is insane. Not the asshole. Heat and cold are two different beasts for finding solutions for. You can wear warmer clothing much easier than you can shed your skin to get colder. She can also block her vents. No need to shut the air off entirely. Plus, it directly affects the quality of your sleep. Yeah. Shut up, stomach. I know we haven't eaten today. Leave me alone. Not the asshole. 70 is a reasonable temperature, and she owns a hoodie. Yeah. Now, if OP was keeping it in, like, the mid-60s, maybe I could understand, because the mid-60s is a bit cold, in my opinion, to keep your household. That's a little too chilly for me. Maybe I could understand the roommate's position a little better if that was where we were keeping it, but 70 degrees? Dude, come on. Yeah, nice. I keep mine at whatever the apartment naturally goes to. It got up to 75 yesterday because it's been quite hot out lately. But that's the highest it's ever gotten naturally in my apartment. And if I'm like doing stuff, if I'm not just sitting around doing nothing, which is rare that I'm not just sitting around doing nothing, I'll turn the AC on to cool it down a bit. But like when I was building my furniture and stuff, I needed the AC on because I was sweating because I was moving and lifting heavy shit. So I had the AC on for that. But if I'm just sitting around on the couch doing nothing, I'm usually sitting under a blanket anyways, regardless of what temperature it is in the apartment. So, you know. Not the asshole. Coming from someone who gets insanely cold all the damn time, she can use more blankets. You can't take off your skin, like you said. She needs to compromise. Yeah. Waves hands in the air. I use an electric blanket all year round. It's currently 77 outside and 72 inside, and the max level is 20. I have it at 18 right now. Not the asshole, OP. Not the asshole. It's hot out for normal people, and us freeze babies can put layers on, or in my case, an electric blanket. Freeze babies. Definitely not the asshole. Is she pregnant? Is your wife pregnant? If no, then not the asshole. (71.6 Fahrenheit). That's very specific. I assume that's a nice round number in Celsius. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being tired. I figured it was a nice round number in Celsius. Because, I mean, thermostats don't do to the point something degree here. At least none of the ones I've ever had to do that. It's whole numbers only. Am I the asshole for refusing to cook for my wife anymore after she ate 3 of my meal prepped meals? You all have 0.5. I'm sure some of the ones here do. I've just never seen one that does middle one numbers. It's all whole numbers here. In my household, my wife doesn't cook. She sucks at it, and it's just easier on our taste buds if I cook for us. Fair. Earlier this year, we both decided that it was time for us to get back in shape. I decided to research some macro-calorie friendly cooking recipes and got big into meal prepping. My wife stuck with it for a few weeks, but ultimately decided to quit. Luckily, this wasn't too much of an issue for me. She's a nurse and frequently works much later than I do, as my typical workday is from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I would make my meal prep meals for the week on my off day, and then I would make dinner like I did prior. When I meal prep, I make 6 days worth of 3 meals. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and just swap around lunch and dinner. Last week, Thursday morning for work, I planned on coming back Friday morning and stopping at home, grabbing anything I needed and heading into the office. This was known for weeks in advance, so I didn't spring this on my wife. I figured that she would be able to make sure she and our kid got dinner that night and breakfast the next morning. The next morning, I'm running late and drive through home looking for my last breakfast and lunch for the week, and they're gone. I don't have time to ask my wife, nor do I want to wake her up early before her shift, so I just go. I end up skipping breakfast and lunch. I get off work and I'm starving and decided I'm just going to eat dinner early, and when I look for my dinner for that night, it's not there. This is what set me off. When my wife gets home, I ask her what's up, and she admits to eating the meals. I tell her that I'd portioned out food for the entire day and that she ate all of it in a single night. She said it was my fault I didn't make anything for her and our kid to eat, and I just left the meal prepping things, so they had to eat those. Bitch, order some pizza. The fuck? We got into an argument, and she told me I was being selfish, so now I decided that if I'm selfish for expecting her to feed herself for one night, I would just not cook anymore, as I'm doing a lot of work for a selfish person. For the past week, I made my meal prep meals and stored them at work and let her figure out what she wants to do for dinner by herself. Of course, I still cook for our kid, but only one portion small enough for him to eat by himself. I told her I would keep this up and she could learn to cook for herself if she's not happy about it. She told me that she's too tired when she comes home from work to cook and that I'm being incredibly petty. I think I'm justified and I'm pushing her to learn a life skill she should have by now. Am I the asshole? No, you're not the asshole. It's a bit shady to do that, but at the same time, she crossed a boundary. A very pretty basic boundary of don't eat other people's food. Like, that's a pretty basic boundary to understand. If there's food in the fridge that's not yours, you don't eat it. That's how that works. She crossed that line and you're punishing her for it, and that makes sense because the fuck? Like, shut up, stomach. No one asked you. So, the fact that she couldn't just order in some fucking pizza for the night or something, or couldn't, like, ask you, I guess maybe at work you're not able to chit-chat, I don't know. Yeah, you're not obligated to cook for her either. It was really nice of you to do so. Like, I would love a partner that likes to cook and has the time to cook great meals for us. But, and I'm hopeful for that because I'm not really big into cooking, as I have ADHD and don't have the ability to pre-plan for that shit most of the time. So, I think people who have a partner who cooks for them so often take it for granted, and you see these kinds of situations on this subreddit a lot, where one person's cooking for another and that other person is very ungrateful. And it could never be me. Definitely not the asshole. Not the asshole. When a man does what your wife is doing, we call it weaponized incompetence. Funnily enough, that is also what we call it when a woman does it. This is true. The wife should learn to cook. It's easy as hell. The kid, sure, but I'm sure the wife can handle herself. Look up a recipe and follow it step by step. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, she's not helpless. She could totally learn to cook. How are people saying she's abusing his kid? He is abusing his kid when he said he did cook for him. They're a grown-ass person, the second parent who has the responsibility to actually feed the child. He prepped meals for himself and told her he happened to not make anything one night, and suddenly he's abusive because apparently his adult wife can't cook or order out. That's the thing that's getting me. If she wasn't prepared to cook something, then there's probably not the stuff to cook in the house. So order out. Go get some fast food or something. Like, it is petty 100%, but it is petty deserved 100%. To be called selfish because you expect her to figure something out for one night is ridiculous and insulting, not the asshole. Eating his food and then calling him selfish is some A+ narcissistic behavior, and not even caring that he went hungry because of it. Yeah. Definitely not the asshole. Pretty easy one there. Alright. We got a vegan one today, guys. I feel like there's always something about vegans in these fucking Am I the Asshole subreddits. I feel like there's always something about a vegan in here. I need a haircut. I've got too much fucking hair. Oh my god. It's getting to the point that it's starting to annoy me. I don't really want to cut it shorter is the only thing, because I like being able to put it up at work so it's out of my way. And if I cut it much shorter, I won't have the length for that. But it's also getting to be too much, and I'm tired of dealing with it. Yeah, I haven't cut it in several months. I haven't cut it since before the move. My undercut is also getting quite long, but I don't want to spend the money to have great clips cut it off. That seems like a waste of money. I haven't gone to get my hair cut somewhere in a very, very long time because I usually just do it myself. I might cut it a little bit shorter next time I shower, but we'll see. I usually forget, so. Am I the asshole for making my husband a vegan dinner even though he's completely against becoming one? I, 24 male, and my husband, 25 male, have been happily married for a little over a year now. We met through a mutual friend, and he learned very quickly that I am a vegan. About a year after we met and got closer, we started dating. He had no issues with me being vegan, but made it very clear that I couldn't force him into being a vegan, which I respected. I haven't ever put him down for eating meat in front of me, as that is his choice. To each their own. We even served both vegan and meat-inclusive food at our wedding to accommodate both of our families. Up till now, everything was great. However, recently I've been seeing a ton of vegan recipes on my Pinterest and decided I wanted to try making one for dinner. We don't usually end up getting to have fancy dinners at home as both of us work full-time, but I found some time today to cook something up. It was a recipe for pulled pork sandwiches, but the pork wasn't actually pork and said it was jackfruit. He seemed a little stressed about work, but I showed him the surprise dinner, and that seemed to help his mood out. He ate it happily and even complimented my cooking, but when he asked what was in it, and when I told him it was a pulled pork sandwich with jackfruit as meat alternative, he lashed out. He shouted, telling me that he made it very clear he was staying a meat eater. I tried explaining that I wasn't trying to turn him into a vegan, but he'd walked away by then. This happened a few hours back, and now he's refusing to talk to me. I feel like I might be the asshole for making him a vegan meal, even though he'd made it extremely clear that he wouldn't become one, because even if it wasn't my intention to make him one, I still made a vegan dinner and passed it off as one with meat in it. Am I the asshole? This is a pretty commonly asked question, so I'll clear it up. I didn't say it was a pulled pork sandwich. All I had said was that I'd made some sandwiches for us. Nothing more, nothing less. This is like the one vegan one we've read where the vegan isn't the asshole. Oh. What, you can't eat one vegan meal? Dude, like, especially if the vegan meal is like normal, you know, like clearly the substitute was tasty and probably tasted like meat. A lot of vegan meat substitutes taste like the meat they're substituting on purpose. So, and clearly he didn't give a shit because he didn't notice it was a vegan meal until he asked and was told. No, you're not the asshole, and I think your boyfriend might be. Boyfriend? Husband? Husband. Your husband might be an asshole. He ate it happily and even complimented my cooking. I do not understand people like this who love food until finding out that it's vegan. You're not pushing veganism on him. You made a meal that you could eat and he ended up enjoying. I do not see the issue. I can't eat dairy, so I use plant-based milks, butters, cheeses, etc. in my meals. My husband doesn't care as long as it tastes good. I also made vegetarian and vegan meals at least once a week just to take a meat break. As a big meat eater, he also does not care about that as long as it tastes good. Yeah, I mean, that's how I am. I'm not going to ever cut meat out of my diet, but if there's a meat substitute that tastes good and I'm dating someone who doesn't eat meat and they cook me a meal and it tastes great, why the fuck are you complaining? You got a tasty ass meal. Who cares what's in it? Like, it's not like they fed you like raw eggs or like raw like fish eggs or some like you didn't get some secret caviar shoved in there or anything like you what It wasn't like you were snuck some nasty ass food. You were given a tasty meal, a tasty home cooked meal. Why are some of these food based? Is it because I didn't eat breakfast this morning? What the fuck is going on? Eating a single vegan meal does not make you vegan. That's like saying I am a fitness enthusiast because I went to the gym once last year. Or you walk to the mailbox. Yeah. Not the asshole. As a meat eater, I can never get my head around meat eaters who get mad about being fed something that doesn't have meat in it. Exactly. I know that Reddit jumps too quickly to the breakup solution, but frankly this reaction would cause me to question the entire relationship. The only circumstance that this reaction would be appropriate is if the person had a deadly food allergy and the one making the food was aware of the allergy, or the same scenario but for religious beliefs, or even the other way around. If the non-vegan husband had fed the vegan husband meat, telling them it was a meat substitute, that would be fucked up as well. That would be when it was fucked up because being vegan is a dietary restriction. It is not the opposite of that. But for a normal ass meal, no matter what it is, if you jump straight to shouting and screaming at me, it is not appropriate and I will not stand for it. Yeah. Y'all aren't able to hear my stomach growling, are you? I doubt it. I've got the music playing in the background, so I doubt you're able to hear my stomach growling at me. We'll eat soon, alright? Calm the fuck down. Jesus Christ. I think I'm gonna do the same thing I did last night. Eat some pizza rolls, and then go to work, stay till 1, come home, and stop at Cane's on the way home again. No stream tonight, though. I'm just gonna come home and chill. Because I do think I'm gonna do a mega stream tomorrow. I think that's what I've decided on. We'll do Zelda until Jimmy goes to bed, and then once Jimmy goes to bed, we'll switch into just chatting and YouTube and all that nonsense. I think that's what I want to do tomorrow. Plus, then I can stream until like midnight or something, and then still have my night off to myself. Still have a few hours where I can fuck around and watch TV and whatnot. I think that's the plan for tomorrow. Let's put that in there in the Discord. Gonna do a mega stream tomorrow. Gonna start with Zelda at around the normal stream time, then around 6 p.m.-ish. 6 p.m.-ish, we will switch to YouTube and just chatting for the following several hours while I eat dinner and hang out with you all ending stream at around some time between 10 and midnight. Mega. Big letters. Okay. I've set it in stone. I can't go back now. I mean, I can, but I'm less likely to. Once I commit through Discord, I'm usually less likely to change my mind. If I just say something on stream, it's not always set in stone. Like, I'll change my mind sometimes. But usually when I set it in stone via Discord, I don't tend to change the plan too aggressively. Like, I might go live a little bit later. Like today, I went live about a half hour later than normal, or than I'd originally planned, because I slept in / overslept a little bit. Not by a lot, though. I had backup alarms and stuff that I woke up to, but I woke up at my 1:30 alarm, because originally I was going to start at 2, so I had my 1:30 alarm go off, and I said no. I turned that shit off, and I went back to sleep. And then I woke up at 2 o'clock. Did I start at 2:30 or 3? I started at 2:30, right? Yeah, I started at 2:30. No? I don't know when I started. No, I started at 3. So I slept in until 2:30. Instead of starting the stream at 2 or 2:30. Welcome, Christian. Nice to see you again. Did y'all hear that one? Holy shit. Again, probably not over the music, but that was aggressive. Thank you, Christian. Thank you. My little chin hairs are starting to move out a little bit more month to month. It's nice because I'm noticing a difference each month. So it's nothing crazy, but there are changes happening, which is nice to see. Because for so long there was just no difference at all. Yeah, not the asshole. For that one. Yes, we're down to the asshole one. Reddit has deemed this person the asshole, but we will see for ourselves. You're in your young teenage bro dirtbag phase with your facial hair. Yeah, I mean, literally, that's where I'm at. I have no other options. And I refuse to cut it off because I would want to kill myself if I had a clean-shaven face again. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this little baby boy mustache is what keeps me going each day. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration. But if I would look like I feel like I would look like a girl again if I got rid of the tiny bit of facial hair that I do have. I would not be enjoying myself, I gotta say. It just gets itchy for me. Mine gets itchy sometimes, like the chin hairs do, because they're a bit longer, so they loop around and they poke me sometimes. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever be a person to fully shave my face, like go like fully clean shaven. I think the most I'll ever do is like use like clippers to trim it down to where it's shorter. I don't think I'll ever shave my face all of the way. Unless I get to the point where it grows back really fast, I don't think I'll be doing that, because I don't know. I've always wanted facial hair my entire life. So to spend so long growing it and getting it, to then just shave it all off and have to wait forever again, no, we're not doing that. Gotta keep it short. Yeah, these ones haven't, like, they curl a little bit, so they haven't gotten long, so I've never needed to trim them at all because they stay close up to my face. Now, if they were like growing down, like if these hairs actually grew out longer, then we'd be cutting them because I'm not gonna have 6 hairs that hang down to here, you know, like I'm not doing that. There was where is it? Let me find it. It was really funny, and it's related to facial hair. Let me find it. Charlie put out a video a little while. If I let my beard grow out, I look like a Cannibal Mountain Man. I want coverage. Like, I don't, like, Hassan, for example, grows too much facial hair for me. Like, I think I would get overwhelmed with that much facial hair. I'd take it if that was what I was given, but I don't have the Turkish genes for that. So, I wouldn't be doing that. I'm thinking mine will look more like Moist Critical's. Like, I'm thinking that's closer to what my facial hair would be. My dad grows a really strong mustache, so so I imagine that one will be what mine will look like. No one in my family really keeps their facial hair grown out all the way, but I know every guy in my family can grow some, but none of them really like wear full beard or anything other than my mom's stepbrother, but that doesn't count because he's not biologically related to me in any capacity. My dad can grow a full beard, but he generally just keeps a mustache. I've never seen him with a beard grown out. I've just seen him with stubble. Where is it? Here we go. It's this one, right? Okay, I want to show you all this. It's really funny. It made me cackle. It made me cackle. Your dad has the cop mustache. Very much so, yeah. He doesn't quite have a mustache on the level of Eddie Burback. Eddie Burback's mustache is like god tier shit. If you don't know who I'm talking about. This is Eddie Burback. Look at this mustache. Look at that mustache. Oh, fuck it. Put it up over there. Look at that shit. Look at that. That's a mustache right there. Goddamn. I think I'm going to go enjoy the rest of the stream. Night. Sleep well, Jimmy. See you tomorrow. That's a lot of mustache right there. That's a Thickums mustache. I'll never get over it. It's a lot. But I watched this and it was quite funny. So I don't know if anyone heard about this. I remember this man. He made a video where he ate at every Rainforest Cafe. Yeah, he also put one out more recently where he ate at every Margaritaville, which I keep getting recommended to me, and I don't really care. Like I prefer more of his commentary style videos, but it keeps getting recommended to me. So to get to the point where we need to be, so there was this deaf kid and his dad were at Target, and he was approached by a guy, and they were told that they were doing a Mr. Beast style challenge, where they can, like, you get a certain amount of time, you throw as much stuff in the cart as you can, and it gets paid for by Mr. Beast. And this kid, who is very little, he's very small. I have no idea how old he is. He's quite small. Maybe 10. I don't know. Loves Mr. Beast. Like, that is his childhood, like that's like his idol. Like, that's who he looks up to. So they were super excited, but it ended up just being a really cruel prank by some shithead. And I was watching Moist cover this, and it really cracked me up, because the idiot made a response video. The fucking asshole. Made a response video, and Charlie's reaction to it was so funny. So, and I just wanted to show you it because it cracked me up.
And now I want to add on to that happy ending by insulting the prankster who proudly showcases himself as the one behind it. So let's make fun of this asshole.
Before we continue the video, I just want to clear the air for anyone that hates me right now, that wants to rip off my beard or shave my eyebrows or rip my ears off or something.
It's almost sadder than the prank itself that he called that little pube patch on his chin a beard. That's not a beard, man. It's a group of taint hairs on your chin. That hair on your chin is what most people have on their gooch. I really hope you don't go around saying that you have a beard, because that's even more
It's so true, though. Why are you calling it a beard? Sir, that is not a beard. At the most, it's a goatee. At the most. No. Oh, because I didn't even know what Charlie was going to say when I first was watching this video. But when that guy called it a beard, I was like, what? Where is it? Like, you would never catch me calling this a beard. Now, he has a little bit more than I do, but not by a lot. He's got more down here than I do, but we're about on par with the lip hair. It's not a beard, buddy. That's called facial hair. That's it. That's the extent of what you've got going on. This is a beard. It must cover your face for it to be a beard, all right? Like, even a goatee isn't called a beard. It's called a goatee because it's not a beard. It I just thought it was so funny. And then Charlie just rips him to pieces, of course. I just thought it was hilarious, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. And figured I would share, since it's mildly relevant, because we were talking about my facial hair, which is quite similar to that asshole's facial hair. So... Well, thank you. I would like a bit more of it. I'm working on getting some what I want some here. That's what I want some here. Any at all would be great, even if it's patchy. I'll take anything. I'll take anything. Ooh, oh, sorry. We've got infighting between Matt Walsh and Benjamin. We will be covering that tomorrow during tomorrow's stream. Let them fight. Yeah, Ben uploaded a video 2 hours ago called Ben destroys Matt Walsh with facts and logic. Oh, it's about the UFO stuff? Ooh, interesting. I know he also covered Barbie, and we might go through that video tomorrow as well. It's like 40 minutes long, so I won't cover it in its entirety, as it's most likely incredibly repetitive. I'm certain it's repetitive. He made 2 videos on Barbie. He made 2 videos on Barbie, one of which is 42 minutes long, and the other one which is an hour long. Why? For what? Now, I don't know if the entire stretch of that video is about Barbie. I don't know. It could be like a full episode of his show where he talks about multiple things. But none of the other clips on here are like that. So, we might cover that tomorrow. Sadly, not right now, as that is not what this stream is about. But we'll cover the infighting and potentially his coverage of Barbie, and his inability to understand what good screenwriting looks like tomorrow. That's a tomorrow adventure. But that is why I specifically accumulated my algorithm on my VOD channel the way I did, so that it would recommend me things from Ben Shapiro and stuff like that, so that I don't have to go searching for his content. YouTube's just like, oh, here's the garbage that Ben put out today. So, and especially since I don't really have any specific views on the whole the like alien thing that's going on right now, it'll be interesting to see Ben and Matt fight it out. Yes, I have spent time accruing my algorithm to where I want it to be. I don't think accrue is the right word to use there, but but today is a Reddit stream, not a YouTube stream. We will do that tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow. But I've got some good content that I've got saved in there for tomorrow. Some of it's older stuff, some of it's newer stuff. But yeah. They're gonna try to think. They're gonna think Ben Shapiro's working for the government by saying UFOs don't exist. Yeah, I don't really have any particular feelings on the hearing and stuff that was going on. I don't really know if I believe it or not. I don't really have any strong feelings about it either way. If there are aliens zipping around in our atmosphere, okay. If there aren't, okay. It doesn't really change how my day goes, because the only people who have allegedly ever interacted with these things are pilots, and I am not a pilot. So I don't really care either way. So that'll make the Ben v. Matt Walsh video, I think, more interesting, because I don't really have a side. In the end of the day, we're indifferent unless the alien comes down and say, you want to go to a better place with some clean air? Yeah. I mean, if they want to come down and abduct me, that's absolutely fine. I have nothing against that. I'd be all in on that. But as that doesn't seem to be a thing that's happening, I don't really care. So, be interesting to see that. Because usually the stuff Ben talks about, I give some sort of a shit about, or I have some sort of an opinion about. So it'll be interesting to watch him talk about something that I truly couldn't care less about. That I only know about because Hassan covered it. If Hassan hadn't covered it, I wouldn't know or care. I think Phil might have covered it a little bit on one of his episodes, but I can't remember for sure. So, all right. Am I the asshole for yelling at my wife after she blew up my phone with calls because of a fire? Interesting. Throw away because some of this made local news and I don't want to connect you back to me. I work in a place where we are not allowed to have personal electronics on us at all. No phones, no smartwatches, no pagers. I've been working here for about 6 months, so my wife knows this and understands that she should not try to contact me by my cell at work. Phones are dropped off in our lockers, and I typically have mine on Do Not Disturb. Is that legal? Is it legal for a place to prevent you from having your phone on you? Or a phone or a form of contact on you? Is that legal? It's probably not illegal to prevent it, which means it's legal. I don't know. Seems sus. That's not about a commentary on OP. That's a commentary on OP's workplace. Phones are dropped off in our lockers and typically have mine on Do Not Disturb. Before this incident, my phone has never gone off in the locker before. Recently, there was a pretty big fire at a secondary work site that I do work at occasionally, but that day I was working at the main building. Local news covered the fire before I found out about it because, again, no electronics, plus the work we do isolates us a bit, so news travels pretty slowly. There were a few casualties, a lot of seriously injured folk. My wife had been watching the news from home and started freaking out, I guess. She called me 20 freaking times, and I did not know this was possible, overrode my D&D and my Do Not Disturb, and my phone was ringing for a while in my locker. In the middle of my shift, I got called into my manager's office and was chewed out and written up for my phone making so much noise. They told me to go take care of whatever was making my phone go off before I got back to work. Okay, that sounds like your manager's fucking problem. It's in your locker. Who cares if it's making noise? I won't lie, when I saw those 20 missed calls from my wife, I was seriously pissed off. Like I said, she knows not to try to contact me directly, and a citation hurts my chances of getting a raise or promotion. I called her back, and she was sobbing, asking me if I was okay. I said of course I was okay, and asked what the fuck was wrong with her to call me so many times. She was still crying and started talking about the fire, and after that I started half yelling at her about all the reasons it was dumb of her to call me. If you told your managers that it was your wife calling you because there was a fire at a location you sometimes work at, and she wanted to make sure you were okay, I'm sure they would understand and nicks out the write-up, but because you didn't know when you went in to talk to them, you couldn't tell them that. I'm sure if you went back and told them, they would understand. When I got home, she was super upset with me. I apologized for yelling, but she refused to talk to me. It's been very chilly the past few days, and I've been sleeping in our daughter's room. She's been very chilly in the past few days and has been sleeping in our daughter's room. I know it was not the best decision to yell at her, but I think my anger is justified. She knows I don't work in the secretary worksite very often, and 2, she knows that I can't be contacted directly, and she should have just called the office. 20 calls is absolutely insane. Am I the asshole? Could she have called the office? Sure. Would it make more sense to call you directly? Yes, because if you were at that building, likelihood is you're going to have access to your phone and you're going to call her back. Plus, she was probably just in a panic and wasn't thinking about it. She was just thinking, that guy that I really fucking give a shit about could be dead. I should make sure he's okay. Mr. Nico, have an okay stream. I'm going to bed. Sleep well, rookie. See you during tomorrow's stream? Question mark, question mark. It's going to be a long stream tomorrow. Although, it'll start at the same time, so maybe not. It'll still be late for you. I might still be live when you wake up, but it's doubtful, as I don't plan to stream till like 3 a.m. or anything. I only plan to stream till like midnight tomorrow. So, but yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Sleep well. This guy gives off, I wear wife beater tank top and go home and hit my wife because she burned dinner, even though dinner was cooked to perfection and I was just looking for an excuse kind of vibes. Yeah, a little bit. This thread is now locked due to excess of rule violations. Ooh, I'm shocked. You're the asshole. Holy fuck. She was concerned for your safety. Also, just have your phone on silent and then it won't matter how many times people call or text you. Yeah, why are you putting it on Do Not Disturb? Just put it on. Also, you can put it, on a lot of phones, you can set up a automated response for if someone tries to contact you on Do Not Disturb mode. But, you know, when I see that I have that many missed calls, I don't get annoyed. I get scared something is wrong and that they're trying to get a hold of me to let me know. For people of saying she could have called the office, I doubt she was the only one worried. I imagine if there was a fire, the office phones might have been very possibly have been busy. Also, she was panicked. OP, you're the asshole. Yeah. You're the asshole. Your wife was worried that you could have been killed, and you're upset that she was checks notes concerned about you. Do you not understand human emotions? She was panicking. She wasn't thinking about your possible promotion. She was thinking that you could be seriously hurt or even dead. All she wanted to do in that moment was to hear your voice and hear it tell her that you're okay and that you love her and that you'll be home safe. But instead, when she finally does, she hears it berate her and call her dumb. That being said, your employers are the biggest assholes going. Your place of work is on fire and they don't say, hey, go let your loved ones know that you're okay. Who wants to work for these psychopaths? Yeah. You're the asshole for sure. How could you not understand that your wife's reaction was normal and because she was worried for you? Even if she knew you're rarely at the secondary job site, that's not a 0% chance. She might have called the office instead, but she was panicking. Plus, who knows if she would have gotten an answer. I'm sure lots of people called the office after that news about the fire, and your manager and your company are major assholes, too. First, you didn't break any rule. You had your phone in the locker set on Do Not Disturb. It's not on you. So why should this cost you a raise or promotion? Also, who wouldn't understand that the constant ringing of the phone in your locker was from someone who was worried about you? Exactly my thoughts. Exactly my thoughts. Yeah, I'm really disturbed by a few casualties, lots of injured. If this is a secondary work site, then those are coworkers, even if you don't know them very well, and there was a chance that it could have been you and your family affected. Have some empathy. OP seems to be brushing this off, which seems weird to me, but management definitely had bigger concerns than a phone ringing in a locker. Maybe the write-up happened before OP knew it was his wife trying to make sure they were okay, but seriously, what manager is concerned about a phone when people have died? Yeah. Honestly. I have a really strong feeling that OP isn't being entirely honest with his retelling of this part. Either he's exaggerating, getting yelled at or written up to justify his reaction to yell at his wife out of his own embarrassment, or workplace rules actually state that the phone must be shut fully off on site for security purposes, and his management found out that he was leaving his on but on Do Not Disturb mode all this time, leaving the company open to security or data breaches due to an unauthorized device in a secured area. That's true. I didn't think about that. It's possible that he was written up because it's supposed to be powered down, not just on silent. I feel like the company is going to have their minds more focused on paying the families of the people who died more than this guy's phone. Yeah, maybe. Never seen Pardon me, ADHD. Never seen somebody more, you're the asshole. It's mind-blowing that you even have to come here and ask this question. She was afraid you were dead. It was a reasonable concern. So what if she overreacted? So what if she made some logical errors in her panic? She cares about you. Does any part of you want her to care if you're dead? Also, have you been tested for any kind of mental or emotional issue that may account for your complete lack of empathy here? Anyway, it may help your situation to tell your manager why you were getting so many calls. And if the manager has a heart in their chest, maybe that will make a difference. ETA. Everyone's the asshole? I don't know what ETA means. You didn't even know that lots of calls could override a do not disturb setting, and yet you're holding your wife responsible for knowing. It is your job to put that setting on when you're at work. You did that, and I'm betting that since it's so important that your phone not ring at work, she probably knows you do that. Too bad you had to learn this way, but if your setting worked the way both of you had expected it, 20 calls would not be a good reason to half yell at your loving wife. If she had known it would happen, that would be different. She did not. Yeah. Yeah, especially, yeah, if you went to pick up your phone, not knowing about the fire, and saw you had 20 missed calls from your wife, I'd be concerned that something was wrong on her end, that something bad was happening, that I'd missed out on, and that she was trying to contact me to let me know something crazy had happened. Not that my wife was being a bitch and just trying to bother me at work. Like, the fuck? There were a few casualties and lots of seriously injured folk. My wife had been watching the news from home instead of freaking out, I guess. You're the asshole. Which, and I did not know this was possible, overrode my do not disturb and my phone was ringing. You're the asshole. She was sobbing and asking me if I was okay. I said, of course I was okay, and asked what the fuck was wrong with her. And yep, you're the asshole. Editing to add this gem from OP down thread. Yes, she could have easily Googled the company's name and the phone number. There would have eventually connected her with my building so she could ask about me if she really felt she needed to. Double asshole. Yeah. Right nut or left nut? Why not both nuts? Let's take both. Yeah, I don't know how he thought posting this was going to end any other way. You're the asshole. What the hell is wrong with your boss? We have an employee's spouse who is legitimately and reasonably concerned that her husband has been critically injured and he's penalizing you. You need to grow a pair and have him remove that citation. Yeah. You're the asshole. She didn't know if you could have been one of those casualties or not. You should be mad at your boss, not her. She cared enough to try to reach out, but you react to that with anger. Yeah, I want to see if has OP done any replies? Info, why can't you have your phone at work, much less ringing in the locker? Having electronics in my specific role is a safety issue. The ringing in my locker was loud enough that it was disturbing people working in the office right next to my locker room. I don't want to get into too many details lest it identify me or my company. Question, why didn't you just turn your phone off entirely? I should have, and I will do so in the future now that I know D&D isn't entirely effective. You're the asshole. Your wife was worried that you could have been killed, and you're upset that she was checks notes. Okay. It wasn't the place I was working at. It was a secondary job site an hour away. Plus, the news coverage and her calling happened maybe an hour after the place went up in flames. People in my building who knew about it right away were concerned about things more important than sending a message down to all of us. But she didn't know it wasn't the place you were working at. Obviously, or she wouldn't have bothered calling. But did your wife know exactly where you were at the time of the fire? If she had no reason to believe you were in danger, then 20 calls is excessive. But she had even the smallest notion that maybe you could have been in that burning building, then you're the asshole. Yeah, unless you said, oh, I'm going to work at this site today before you left the house. Yeah, no. I can see why Reddit determined this person to be the asshole. The fuck? How do I get out of here? Fuck off. There we go. Jesus. Good God, the asshole. Alright. Ooh, we got a couple good ones here. All right. Yeah, he seems like a bit of a dick. I gotta be honest. He sounds kind of the worst, if I'm being honest. I look forward to getting paid here in a couple days. I'm not like tight on money or anything right now, but I mean I don't have a ton of money in the bank account, but it'll be nice to know how much I got paid for last week. Is mainly the reason I would like to see how much like to get paid, is because I would like to know how well I'm doing in terms of getting it. Sorry, words are not functioning at the moment. I would like to know how close I am to having enough money for rent for next month, because this paycheck should be decently sized, as I worked a lot of hours last week, and most of it will go towards rent for the rent that I pay at the end of this month, because I've already paid this month's rent, obviously, but because like I'm not like, oh yay, I'll have money again. I do plan on buying a little something for myself with this paycheck, but nothing expensive, nothing crazy expensive. Basically all of it's going to go into savings for rent. And then the next paycheck will be one that I hold on to use for like groceries and medication, because I'm gonna have to refill my meds in the next couple weeks, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not worried about getting dinner tonight, for example, like I have been in the past. I can afford to go to Cane's again when I get off work tonight, without having to look. I know I'll be fine. But, you know, money. Sorry, I don't know where that thought came from. Just always on the brain, I guess. How does I say?
Ileostomy.
Ileostomy. Okay. I think the capital I was throwing me off. Ileostomy. Okay. Yeah, I think, the capital I next to the L was short-circuiting my brain. All right. Am I the asshole for being rude to a woman who yelled at me for using the disabled toilet? I have an ileostomy. This means that I have my colon removed and I have a stoma. This is on my stomach, and it's where my poop comes out from and into an attached bag. Okay. I've seen those before. I've seen people like changing them on TikTok and stuff before. Usually can't see it, and it doesn't look as though I have any kind of disability, although it is legally classed as a disability. To empty it, I need to kneel by the toilet and rinse it out with water. I fill a travel bottle up in the toilet and use this to rinse out the bag. Not rinsing it is gross. Because of needing to kneel and have water on my hand, I need to use the disabled toilets whenever I can. I have a radar key to get me into them. It was given to me after I had my surgery. Using a non-disabled toilet is very difficult, hard to kneel, very little privacy, and no sink on hand. Oh, nice. Your disabled toilet has a sink in it. That's nice. I always like when they do that. Yeah. Today, I was at M&S and had to empty my bag, so I use a disabled toilet as usual. FYI, almost all disabled toilets have signs on them that say not all disabilities are visible. Oh, that's nice. Where the fuck do you live? Not here. Not in this fucking country. When I tried to come out of the toilet, my way was blocked by a woman who started to berate me for using the disabled toilet. Apparently, she saw me go in and had been waiting for me to come out. She was stopping me from leaving and threatening to call the staff. I tried to tell her that I need to use the toilet and showed her my special radar key. She just kept getting angrier and angrier and louder and louder. We had a crowd by this time. In desperation, I finally pulled up my shirt and slid my trousers down a bit and showed her my ileostomy bag. I pointed out at the sign on the door that says not all disabilities are visible, and I told her she was ignorant and needed to learn to mind her own business. And then I told her to fuck off and get out of my way. Am I the asshole for being so rude? I know I should have been nicer, but she would not stop blocking me to get to the toilet. No, not the asshole. Did she have a disability? Did she need to use the toilet? Where's her disability at? You didn't mention that she was in a wheelchair or had a fake leg or anything, like any visible disabilities. So why is she worried about you being in the disabled bathroom if she also has an invisible disability? Yeah, I agree. But, like, I think it's even more the other person is even more the asshole if they also have a not very visible disability. Even if she was in a wheelchair, she wouldn't have the right to do that. But I just would find it to be extra ironic and find her to be extra asshole if she isn't disabled or also has a invisible disability. Not the asshole. I had a friend once who parked in a disabled bay and was yelled at by someone nearby. He waited for them to finish, then removed his prosthetic leg. They went white as a sheet and got out of there pretty fast. If you are so much of an ass that you have to go at a stranger in public, doing nothing about them, you deserve everything if you get blows in your face. Yeah. Doubly true when the person doing the yelly lecture is themselves able-bodied. If you come at me with a visible disability and I need to point out my disability is invisible, I'm going to assume you're having a shit day. But if you're able-bodied, who the fuck asked you? Go police your own shit. People shouldn't have to expose their personal medical information to get treated with respect, but I absolutely will shame people. That person had every right to get mad at the lady. You don't start yelling at someone out of nowhere as soon as they come out of the toilet. Yeah, disabled toilet or not. Yeah. You don't look disabled. You didn't look stupid until you opened your mouth. Yeah. Someone said this to my BFF once, and without missing a beat, she replied, "You don't look like a doctor." Shut them right up. Yeah. Not the asshole. Honestly, I hate people like this. One of my shittier encounters was also in an M&S, where someone had seen me, decided I don't look disabled, and gone to town. I don't know what the narrative these people have in their heads, whether or not they think they're standing up for disabled people by being absolute dicks. They're not. Not at all. They're just showing their ignorance. You're absolutely not the asshole for standing up for yourself. This lady was a bully and was trying to intimidate you. Yeah. You were exactly as rude as you needed to be, not the asshole. Yeah. Yeah. If anything, I would have been even ruder. Yeah. I may have detached my bag and tried to fling something at her. Yeah. Not the asshole. It's not like a parking spot. Even if you weren't disabled, disabled bathrooms are disabled accessible, not reserved. Half the time, they're also the only ones with a changing table. This is true. This is very, very true. Technically, the men's rooms at where I work, there's only one stall at all. So that stall is disabled accessible, but it's not listed as a disabled restroom, because it's the only stall in there. So it's the only option, disabled or not. So I don't know about the US. But in Canada, a disabled toilet is not treated the same as a disabled parking spot. They are to be used by anyone, though obviously if standard toilets are available, a non-disabled person should use that one. The disabled toilet is not restricted to disabled people only. Yeah, exactly. M&S and radar keys means this is the UK. They can be used by anyone legally, but some places keep them locked. You can have them unlocked by an employee, or you can use a radar key, a universal key that opens all locked disabled toilets, which you can buy or get for free from your local authority. Didn't know that. I figured this was in the UK because of M&S, but only one stall. That's ridiculous. There should be at least 3. This is why I believe we should create the super restroom, 50 stalls, and 30 urinals. Yes, I agree. It's super annoying, especially since I am not capable of using a urinal. It's really frustrating to go into that, because the closest bathrooms to where my corner of the building only have the 1 stall and 1 urinal. The women's rooms have two stalls, obviously, as they don't have urinals in there, but some of the other bathrooms in the building do have 3 stalls. Like the bigger ones near the bigger break rooms have 3 stalls and 3 urinals, but the ones back near my department only have 1 stall and 1 urinal, and I don't understand why. Like, there's a whole ass department right there. Why are there so few toilets here. The fuck? But it's really annoying. And it's a daily thing that annoys the fucking shit out of me. Not the asshole. That woman got exactly what she was asking for. She was rude, uncouth, and ignorant. The only thing you did was highlight how big of an entitled asshole she was being. I too have an invisible disability, and it's hard when people want to judge just by what they can see. The disability toilets is for all disabilities, and in many places I've gone, it's also where the baby changing station happens to be located. Yep. Low toilet, tall person, full bag, poop, splash, spatter. Some people think they stink without rinsing, and are very self-conscious about possible smell. One of my patients is over 6'4". He always kneels because of the splatter. Jesus. Yeah, I bet. Sitting down on a toilet when you're 6'4" is hard enough as it is. Let alone having to fucking dump something into one. Okay. Last one for the day. And then Nico needs to go eat something so that maybe he'll wake up. Oh. Or maybe I'll go take a nap. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have work in a few hours, which is very gross. And I really hate last week me for picking up these shifts, but I need the money, so. Am I the asshole for just posting, quote, my wife miscarried, end quote, on my mom's social media after she announced my pregnancy? My wife was pregnant with our first child. We weren't telling anyone yet because it was early. My mom was over at our house and noticed some of the obvious clues of pregnancy. She asked about it, and we were honest. We also asked her to please respect our wishes and not go telling people because it was early in the pregnancy and we wanted time to ourselves to absorb it. The pregnancy was unplanned, but welcome. My mom lasted 2 weeks before she started posting about becoming a grandmother. We hadn't told her yet we lost the baby. Ooh. I was still feeling dead inside when I saw her post, so I just commented that Elise miscarried a week ago. I guess it took about an hour for my mom to see the comment and deleted her post. We have been getting condolences, which we don't want, and my mom has been getting crapped on by friends and family for being so insensitive. That's good. She's mad at me for not telling her that we had lost her grandchild. I think I was an asshole because I replied that I didn't want her babbling my family's personal life again. She's crying, and my dad says that I have every right to be upset, but that I could have been nicer. I'm just so angry right now, I don't know how to feel. Am I the asshole? No, you're not the asshole. It is completely reasonable to not immediately announce a pregnancy, especially if it's an early pregnancy, because miscarriages are fairly common. And it's completely reasonable to not want to announce it just to lose the child and then have to announce that you lost the child and then everyone make a big stink about it when you really just want to mourn and move on. That is a completely reasonable thing to do. And for your mom to do that, to bypass your request of her keeping it quiet, is very rude. And it's incredibly rude. And then to get mad at you for not telling her that the baby was lost when it was none of her fucking business in the first place. Like, that's not a you problem, that's a her problem. I don't think it's really complicated. I think it's really simple. I think you're not the asshole, and your mom is an asshole. You asked her to keep it quiet, and she didn't. And these are her consequences for not keeping it quiet. It's that simple. Yeah. My dad says that I have every right to be upset, but I could have been nicer. What is the nicer way of saying? What is the nicer way of saying my wife had a miscarriage? Not the asshole. I think his dad meant, clearly your pregnancy was all about your mother, and your miscarriage is also about her, which is very upsetting to her. Yeah. Not the asshole. So let me get this in a ball sack. What? Your mom, against your wishes, started posting publicly your private information, so you commented that private information was no longer a reality. And less of a summary, she pooped all over your wishes, apparently had no idea what happened because she didn't call to follow up or check up on you or your wife, and in a moment of anger you told her very tactfully, I might add, that she shared the information prematurely. I wouldn't share any information with her ever. She's completely breached every ounce of trust I have in her, and I don't know her. She shared something that isn't hers to share. I'm so sorry for your loss, and I wouldn't blame you for going, Elsie, I assume that means no contact, for a while you recover. Thank you for the awards, kind strangers. Also, the person who recommended Reddit care resources to reach out to me. I'm grateful for your tater tots and pears. Let me get this in a ball sack. Very interesting. Not the asshole, your mom disregarded your wishes. She violated your privacy when she decided she wanted everyone to know she told your information. Your private information. She posted you corrected her misinformation. She doesn't get to decide what you share and when. Explain to her from now on your private life is private from her until you're ready for everyone else to find out, at which point she will find out like everyone else. Not the asshole. She doesn't get to decide when and how you grieve. Yep. I hate the smell of coffee and whiskey, so I would not enjoy that smell, but I completely understand the feeling. I've washed my hands, last time I went to my uncle's place, they had this really nice smelling soap in the bathroom, and I'd use the restroom and I'd wash my hands and everything, and I just kept getting whiffs of it as I would gesture and stuff when talking, and it smelled so good. I purposely went and washed it and just double washed my hands before I left so that it would smell good all the way home. Not the asshole, especially as your comments indicate that this was not something your wife was hurt by. You were protecting her by avoiding congratulatory messages. Your mother took information that was not hers to share and publicly posted it. You and your wife were grieving, and I can appreciate how hard that post must have been to see. Your mother broke your trust and is now playing the victim. You did not need to be nicer. You needed your family to support you, and instead they made it about themselves. She's mad at me for not telling her that we had lost her grandchild. This really bothers me. Continues the victim mentality and has made the entire loss about her. I'm sincerely sorry for you and your wife's loss. For real, I got 4 different scents. Nice. Yeah, I've got 3 different scents of deodorant that I just kind of randomly switch between, depending on the day. I just grab one of them and then whip it on and sit it back over there. We had lost her grandchild. What the fuck? Your mom has issues, not the asshole. Yeah, grandparents who act like the kid is their is their grandchild first and foremost, more important than the fact that they are parents. Oh god, I can't. Hold on, let me read that slower. Grandparents who act like the kid is their grandchild first and foremost, more important than the fact that they are the parent's child, really grind my gears. Okay, I can't with that sentence. We're not doing that anymore. Not the asshole unless your wife is not okay with your response. Agreed. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. And that is all for today. Nice short stream today. I streamed a lot yesterday, so compensating a little bit by wait. How long is this one? I hate that we always get down to the asshole ones right at the end. We'll save these for tomorrow, maybe. Because we'll probably do some Reddit tomorrow as well. I'll just save them for tomorrow. Hopefully they don't get deleted between now and then. Alrighty. Oh yeah, I forgot I forget I have 2 camera angles. yeah, that'll be all for today. The VOD will be up very quickly, I'm sure. I didn't record the first hour of stream because we were just chit-chatting, and I don't usually record those so as to make the VODs a little bit shorter. But I will see you all tomorrow for the super ultra mega stream, which will start at the normal time and will run all night. Yeah. It should run, tomorrow's stream should run until around at least 10 p.m. if not later. I might stop at 10 if I'm feeling tired. I might run till 12 if I'm really in the mood. Because if we start watching like Ben Shapiro and Gothics and shit like that, God knows how long the stream could go for. But yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Bye-bye.